My name's Aaron, welcome back to my channel. How are you? I'm fantastic and I'm doing really well. And today I'm viewing from the house of Mancera, Aoud Blue Notes. I listed this last night and I love the colour of the bottle. I picked it up and I tried it. But Aoud Blue Notes sounds like a brief. Can you create an oud with blue notes? That's what I thought. This is a really great value, 120 euros for 120 ml. And the notes are bergamot, citrus fruits, fresh herbs, ylang ylang, violet, rose, Irish, leaves of patchouli. Base notes, amber, leather, intense woody notes, and vanilla pods. Is it me? Please leave your comments below, but it says Oud Blue Notes, but it's not mentioning oud in the breakdown. How strange. Do we have our bottles of Mancera Oud Blue Notes? Are we engaged with the high self? Let's get testing. So I was just sniffing on the Mancera, and I do quite like this. I was like smelling it, thought, oh, it smells quite nice. I tried it on my skin and I quite like it. But obviously I didn't, that was just quite a quick one. Let's look at the atomizer. So let's apply the fragrance and see what we've got. I think this is a blind reach fragrance. I think it just smells blue. Could end the review there, but we won't. It smells like so many other things out there. It's reminiscent actually of the Y range, Yves Saint Laurent. It's giving Yves Saint Laurent, and it's reminding me slightly of my Blue Fever. Blue Fever I designed to be blue, to be a dumb reach, to not be challenging, to be easy to wear, to be strong and long lasting. That was it. Sometimes you just want to pick up a fragrance that's kind of, you smell nice, you kind of smell blue, it's very easy. And there's building blocks and there's ways to build fragrances. So obviously a backbone of I2 Super, and then there's lots of different types of wood raw materials that when combined with other raw materials give you a different finish. So amber comes from ambergris and the ambergris type family, in case you ever wanted. And you have, so I've told you before, I see all these raw materials on like a big wheel, and you have sort of started from here, and you have your woods, your I2 Super, and then you have your ambergris and amber, which can be Nolimbinol, Ambroxan, Ambercore, Amber Max, Ambroxanide, Amber Extreme, all of that. That's sort of there. And then you go right round, then you go into woods, like your Bangalore. Javanel's more here, it's a woody amber. And then you have your Luxstone, and then you start going to sandalwood and then cedarwood. And then from cedarwood, it gets sweeter, and you start going into sort of more gourmand. That's how I sort of see the wood, sort of wood and ambers. And then you have, within that, you have your floral notes as well, and they'll sort of intermix. This is why when you are learning perfume, you got to smell lots of raw materials and see how they combine, because you build up this massive sort of like language of perfumery, and you sort of build up how this goes with this and this goes with this. And that's really what perfumer's job is for. It's just smelling lots and lots of things and retaining that information like a little library. That's how I see it. But I do see it in wheels, all sort of interconnected. It's kind of like interconnected spider's web. And actually there is coming to mind something that was sent by Givaudan, and they have a big spider's web with all the raw materials, and it's all connected, and it looks like the London Underground actually, all the stations sort of connected. But I see it more like wheels rather than sort of lines, because it's the way my brain is sort of more spherical. So within this is utilizing a lot of ambergris-like raw materials, and ambergris obviously has C notes to it, and that's why you'd gravitate to it. And this is one way to build a blue fragrance, which is with raw materials like Ambroxan, Nolimbinol, Ambercore, Bangalore, Luxstone. That's kind of would give you a woody sort of C note to it. There's something in this I don't like. It's giving me sort of like orange blossom, and that's going to be something like Yara. And those with cologne, well, you've got to be really, really careful of these raw materials. They're very powerful, very, very diffusive, and can sort of ruin a fragrance. You would reach for your aqueous raw materials, which fit into another category, like your, there's lots of names for this, trade names. I think it's called a Quaxol Aquanol. Get through Florazone. This one I always pronounce wrong. Precycling B as well. And those in combinations can give you the aqueous note, the C note to it. And Aquanol is very powerful. It's another note that's very, very diffusive and radiates through the fragrance. It's a funny raw material because you can detect it at low amounts or trace amounts. It's really detectable. If it's not blended correctly, it kind of can give you dampness to it, but within a formula, it's really great. There is a dry, tinny note to this that's sticking out for me. And it's like a dry, tinny, sweet note that's quite unappealing, actually. The rest of it I think is really beautiful, but you kind of get to the heart of it and you're getting this sort of dry, tinny, sweet note to it. It's an interesting fragrance because I kind of really love it initially, and as it dries down, I'm changing my opinion on it. Onto my final thoughts. I love the majority of it, the woods. I love the blue aspect to it, but there's part of me that really doesn't like it, and this is the heart and the base of it that I'm not really too sure about. And it feels like there's a sweetness to it combined with a tinny nature. So this sort of tinny wood aspect, more like a tea note to it, even like ceramic tea, combined with sort of vanilla combined with a bit of citrus, which is kind of a little bit jarring, a little bit off-putting for me. The geometry is quite interesting as well. It's quite soft and round, but it has some pointedness to it, which is kind of what you want for sort of citrus. I'm kind of like, last night I really liked this, but it was quite late at night and we've been at work. So when I smelled this, I quite liked it. Now I'm a little bit unsure, and it's got like an orange blossom note. That's how I would sort of detect, so that sort of like ceramic tea sweetness to it is like an orange blossom. I don't really like that, to be honest. This smells actually quite like a Middle Eastern blue citrus. I'm surprised there isn't more citrus in it, and I kind of would have loved some more. I would have loved some mandarin, and I'm craving some mandarin with this fragrance. I'd love some mandarin. I would love, actually what I would love is sort of bergamot lemon mandarin, and I would love some elm in there to help give it some sort of spike, and I would love some ginger or something, and it's lacking something for me, but it's very long lasting. Like all Manceras, it's quite radiant. It sort of has a likable quality to it, and I'm just being nitpickety. The price is outstanding, 120 for like this fragrance. I think I saw it cheaper as well. I think if you want a blue fragrance, you love sort of like my Blue Fever, or you love the Y series, or you love this sort of like woody citruses, and you'll love this. This sort of fits in that category, actually. It's very nice. So I'm going to mark this a 7 out of 10, and I like it, but that sort of orange blossom note is sticking out a little bit too much for me, and I would have loved some more citruses in it. I'm just craving the citruses. Yeah, it's a little bit too smoky as well for me. I would have loved some more citruses. I would have loved some sort of patchouli in it, some really light patchouli to sort of darken it off a little bit. Love some almond, either some pink pepper or some nutmeg to give it spiciness, or some ginger. I would have loved a different sort of finish on the top, and I would love that sort of orange blossom taken out, actually. So I love that review. Thumbs up and subscribe on fascinating, interesting content, lots of moving hands, and lots of fragrance views. Hope you stay safe and well. See you soon.